I am overflowing currently with the feels, and I just have to talk about it. I know a lot of my audience is probably younger than me or doesn't care and didn't grow up with the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but for me, this is something that was really, really cool, really special, put me in that nostalgic feeling of being a kid, and just made me miss a lot of aspects about childhood. Don't get me wrong, I prefer being an adult, being able to do pretty much what I want and not having a bedtime or homework. But there is things that I really miss about childhood, and a lot of that is just being able to really feel like this world of Power Rangers was a real thing. Or, I knew it was a TV show, but really kind of just fall into the magic of it and the wonder of it and just the fantasy aspects and just be taken away and captivated in a way that you can really only be captivated when you're a child. There is a Netflix special that came out yesterday. I finally got a chance to watch it this morning. Power Rangers Once and Always, which is an hour-long special that brings back a handful of the OG cast from the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Most prominently, Billy and Zach, the Blue Ranger and Black Ranger, that haven't been seen since those original shows or since Zeo. And so it was really, really great to see them again, and they created this story that I thought was actually pretty good. I thought it was pretty well paced. Everything about it just kind of brought me joy. And it made me think, like, this is what that Power Rangers movie should have been. You know how they made a Power Rangers movie like 5 or 6 years ago? I don't remember. And they tried to like update it and make it all like young adult Twilight and, turn it into something that Power Rangers isn't. Like, Power Rangers needs to have that cheesiness. It needs to be over the top. It needs to be cheesy. It needs to have ridiculous villains. It needs to have just that charm of what Power Rangers is. That's what makes Power Rangers the thing that we love. And I feel like if they would have made a movie that was more in line with this tone, even if they changed the cast, this is more so what it should have been. But this was definitely a movie that was a love, or a longer episode. And it was only an hour, so it's not really a movie. But it was definitely a love letter to the original series, and especially to the character of Trini. So, a couple of things to note in the real world is that Trini, the actress that played Trini, passed away quite a while ago. I believe it was a car accident a very, very long time ago. She passed away when she was very young, like way too young. Recently, we had Jason David Frank, who played, of course, the Green Ranger and then the White Ranger, Red Zeo, Black Dino. Why do I know all this shit? He recently passed away, unfortunately, last year. Now, I believe that this special was filmed, was written, conceived of, filmed, shot, all that stuff before Jason David Frank passed away. So this movie is really, really focused on Trini and kind of honoring her. And so if you're curious of why they don't kind of put Jason David Frank up on the same kind of pedestal in this movie as that, is because the movie was already filmed before Jason David Frank passed away. However, they do add a tribute to him at the end of the episode, the same way that they add a tribute to Trini, which I thought was done very, very well. It pulled on the nostalgia strings. Like, I started getting emotional about it, thinking about it. They, do like a flashback showing the old cast and everything. And so they definitely do honor both actors. But in case you're wondering, this is way more focused on Trini than it is on Tommy. But that's just the happenstance of when things happen. That's not anything against the actor. And one thing that really surprised me about this, that I was kind of excited about, is that it really keeps it as in canon as it possibly can. Like, one of the things that was always kind of crazy to me is that the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, the one with Ivan Ooze, is technically not canon to the series. Like, it doesn't work. You can't add it in at any point in the timeline. It's its own thing. The movie is not connected to the TV show, which is crazy because that movie is what most people remember from like that time period. Everyone remembers the movie with Ivan Ooze. But the second movie, Turbo, which nobody remembers and nobody liked, I liked it, but that one is canon, and you actually have to see that movie to understand the show. So it's kind of wild how that happened. So they could have, because this was only going to be an hour-long special, it's not connected to the TV series or anything that's running right now. So they could have literally just done anything with it, but they actually decided to keep it very much within canon. Like, for example, there's Zordon, at the end of Power Rangers in Space. He sacrifices himself to basically dispel all of the evil, right? Including Rita and Lord Zed. And so Rita is the villain in this series. So I thought maybe they're just going to bring her back and do whatever with her, but they actually make it in canon. And it's not just Rita, it's fucking Robo Rita. Yeah, she's like part robot. And I was like, is this connected to King Mondo? I don't know what's going on. But apparently the story is Billy tried to bring Zordon back, but in the process, kind of accidentally brought Rita back, and she found a new body to contain her form. And so that's why Rita, the evil that was Rita, came back, inhabiting a new robot body. So instead of, just kind of having her back, they actually connect it to the series. So I thought that was pretty great. Another side note, it's a very quick line, but when Kat comes back as the Pink Ranger, she mentions that she has kids with Tommy. So they kept that in canon also. So in canon, Tommy and Kat are still together, and they actually had children. So the ship of course, Tommy and Kimberly, the OG Pink Ranger and Green Ranger, never got back together. And you know what? Part of me is a little bit upset about that, but the other part of me is like, you know what, Kimberly, you're the one that broke up with him, so screw you. You don't deserve his children. She broke up with him over a letter, man. She couldn't even do it in person. That's like the 90s text message breakup. You don't want that. So that's something there. The main characters in this series are Billy, Blue Ranger, Zach the Black Ranger. They bring back Kat, which is the second Pink Ranger. They bring back Rocky as the Red Ranger. And they have a lot of focus on Trini's daughter in this episode as the upcoming new Yellow Ranger. Now, the only unfortunate thing I would say is that there are a couple other OG Power Ranger actors that were not in this that I think it would have been better if they were, but it's still pretty good on its own. Of course, we have Austin St. John, who's the original Red Ranger, and Kimberly, the original Pink Ranger. They don't make an appearance in this. Their characters are in this, but the actors are not. Their characters are in the beginning as the Power Rangers, so they just use like audio of their voices from before, and they get captured kind of right away. Rita is capturing a bunch of Rangers so that she can build a time portal to go back and talk to her younger self and like warn her of everything, so she has all this upcoming knowledge of what's going to happen, and somehow she's using the energy of the Power Rangers to do that. So that's her big plan. So they get captured right away. And I'm going to spoil this, by the way, when I review this. So if you haven't seen it yet, go see it. But in the beginning, they actually have Trini as still a Ranger, and she jumps in front of Billy to basically save his life, and she actually like canonically gets killed off. So they kill off the character, which is reminiscent of the actual actress passing away in real life. And so what they do with that is they bring it back to lineage, and they bring it back to her daughter. First of all, I kind of respect this for having the balls to like kill off a character. Like nobody ever dies in Power Rangers, not really. Like the bad guys do, but they just blow up and we just forget about it. But like the Power Rangers themselves, they always just leave, or something happens, or they have some other mission to go on, So to actually do that was like, I was like, damn, they actually really did that. But they do it in a way to kind of honor her, because this whole story is about like Trini and her sacrifice and how great she was and how much everybody misses her and respects her, and how her daughter, wants to kind of have revenge for her, right? She's upset about the death, and so she wants to go out and like have revenge, and it's the thing that's limiting her from becoming a Ranger, because she's doing it for selfish motives. She's doing it for revenge, and the lesson in there is kind of like how revenge destroys you as a person, as opposed to working for the overall good of everything, right? And so there's that, of course, that moral lesson in there for the kids as well. But this isn't for the kids. This is for us. This is for the millennials. This is for the people that grew up with this shit. There is also another cameo from Adam, the Black Ranger. Adam, of course, played by Johnny Young Bosch. And if you guys don't know, he's also renowned as a voice actor. He's the voice of Vash from Trigun. He's the voice of Ichigo from Bleach. I believe that's the main character. I haven't watched Bleach, but yeah, he's the voice of Kaneda from the Akira dub. Like, he does a lot of different anime voices, and so he's here for a moment. Same thing with Aisha. They're kind of there for a moment. And it references a lot of stuff that happened throughout the series. So I really like the attention to detail. I like the references. There's a ton of fight scenes with the putties. They bring back a couple of the old school villains. Just two of them. You know, you can tell the budget is still very low on this. There's only a handful of locations. You know, like I said, there's only two monsters to fight, and then Rita herself, along with just putties. But it doesn't matter because it was just so fun going back to that world and seeing these characters again. And I like seeing them as adults also because you have basically Billy and Zach kind of adopting Trini's daughter, and so you know she's the same age as the characters were back, you know, when they first became Rangers, but now they're the adults trying to, like, you know, teach her the right way and have her train and, you know, kind of build her up to becoming a Ranger. We also don't get Bulk and Skull, which is unfortunate, but there is like a brief moment where you see like a picture of them that was perfectly placed, I thought. And yeah, I gotta say that I really enjoyed it. The only thing I didn't like was that when the Megazord comes out, they did use CGI for it instead of like having a dude in a suit. I understand, again, from budgetary reasons, like, it's probably not that expensive to create a Power Ranger suit, but it's probably pretty expensive to create, like, a Megazord. So I get it, but at the same time, everything else felt so nostalgic and 90s and old school, but then you have the CG, you know, Megazord. Not a fan. They used the CG in the original Power Rangers movie, too, and it always took me out of it. I was like, but the CG in this does look a lot better than the 95, you know, Ivan Ooze CG. So I got to give it credit for that. But what else can I say, man? It was great. I enjoyed it very much. You know, as a child, I loved the Power Rangers, so it was just great to see the old school characters back. And I have told this story before, but back in like 2017, I was in like a very, very low place. 17, 18, I was in a very, very low place in my life. I was the most depressed I'd ever been. I was the most broke I'd ever been. I was dealing with medical issues. You know, I was losing people that I loved in my family and stuff. And it was a very, very low, low place for me. I was doing really bad at this point in time in my life. And I decided, I don't know why, but I decided to watch the Power Rangers, all right, to rewatch it from Mighty Morphin. I watched all the way until all the original cast eventually left. And I gotta, like, I don't know what it was, but that got me out of my funk. Like, watching the Power Rangers again, kind of reliving my childhood and just kind of feeling that overall, like, positivity and motivation and the fact that, you know, if you believe in yourself, you can do anything. It's, like, so cheesy as hell, but it's like, I don't know what it is, man, but rewatching that series was the first stepping stone. Obviously, it didn't cure, you know, everything, but it was the first stepping stone of me breaking out of my like super depressive episodes that I was having at the time. And so it was kind of like the catalyst for that. So, you know, it has like a double special place in my heart, not just from childhood, but also from like when I was like 26, 27 and going through like a huge, like horrible crisis in my life. It really helped get me out of it. So, you know, I owe a lot to the Power Rangers in a way. And so this was fantastic. So if you guys are my age, or if not, whatever, if you just like Power Rangers no matter what, did you watch it? Did you like it? What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments below. You know, I really wish we got to see like Austin St. John and Amy Jo in this too. That would have been great. But you know what? It was great for what it was. So I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think. Give this video a like and a comment if you enjoyed it because it will help it be seen in the algorithm better. Also, if you guys want to help support the channel on a deeper level, I do have a Patreon channel memberships linked down below, as well as all the various social media links where you can follow me. So other than that, guys, have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you next time.